fake geek girl Rachel Leshman attacking fans on the Mary Sue is as boring as it is predictable, is what this headline should actually read. They're using the same playbook, of course, to defend a show that's terrible. Now, the Mary Sue's actually got other articles talking about how, like, it is boring and the like. Even the National Review put out saying we're at the midpoint of this season, and it really still hasn't gone anywhere. It's looking real bad for this Amazon billion-dollar investment. They screwed up. They kind of know it, but they're still continuing on. We'll see if this ends up going for the full 5 seasons as planned, as all this stuff's starting to get canceled these days. It really is. But Rachel Lechman is an idiot, and let's make fun of her for a bit. My name's John Delarose, everybody. I am a #1 best-selling fantasy author, and I would love for you to join our community here as we talk about these things in depth from a writing perspective that only a professional can give. I appreciate you guys for being here. Join us. As I said, hit the like and subscribe button. And please check out my books. I've got this series, The Adventures of Baron von Monocle, in the description below. It's a 6-book series right now. For Steam and Country is the first book. We got it back to #1 bestseller this week. It's just been crushing it since 2017, since I first came out with this. Now, like I said, wonderful full series. This is great fantasy. You'll love it. It actually goes somewhere. And very, very happy to be in the talk with like Leviathan from Scott Westerfield. This is good stuff. So appreciate it. This is in the description below, and back it today. All right, let's get into this. We're back with another installment of Let People Enjoy the Thing. This is their new trend that they keep talking about in all of these things. Why do you have to criticize it? Why can't you just let people enjoy it? We're so sad because we can't just enjoy the thing because you're criticizing it. Well, why don't you just let people enjoy our criticism? I mean, that argument doesn't make any sense because they don't want us to have the ability to be critical. In fact, these same people, like Rachel Lessman, have been doing a coordinated attempt to get channels like Star Wars Theory, Geeks and Gamers, and more off of YouTube. There was a harassment campaign, they love to use that too, trying to get our businesses shut down of our commentary, all because they just want to, quote, let people enjoy the thing. Now, it's really funny because outlets like the Mary Sue and like IGN and all these places are out there just shilling for these corporate products over and over again. It's like they get paid, or at least they get access from these companies in order to get early reviews, different swag, different things. It's really ridiculous how they, of course, are so unabashedly shilly. But this is something that they just can't allow any competition for. And they know that these articles like this are not going to get nearly as much traction or nearly as many views as, say, my video on the article. And so that's why they want people to, quote, just be let to enjoy the thing. But the thing is, fans are not enjoying the thing. Fans are thinking the thing is stupid, just like this writing in this article. And that's the problem with Rings of Power. They're not listening to the fans. They're not listening to people who actually love Tolkien, that actually know Tolkien's work, that respect that lore. And so they're going off trying to make their own thing out of something else which is not theirs, and pretending like it's equally brilliant and equally wonderful just because it's theirs. This is the problem with modern writing in general. They want to own it. They want to own something when they're basically fan fiction writers, and they should act more like fan fiction writers and actually attempt to please the fans when they're doing this kind of thing. If Amazon made this called, like, you know, fantasy swordplay with wizards and elves, or whatever they did, rather than calling it Tolkien, it really wouldn't be getting this much scrutiny. Now, it still wouldn't be a good show. People still wouldn't watch it because it's so boring, but it wouldn't be getting the scrutiny. The scrutiny is because it's supposed to be Lord of the Rings. It says Lord of the Rings on it. Now, when you do that, you are trying to work with an established brand. That brand, that work has to be respected in that, and if you don't, you're causing problems. So yeah, let us enjoy the fact that this is failing because it's not doing honor to Tolkien. It's not doing honor to Lord of the Rings. It's a bastardization of it. And so we'll make fun of it, just like we're making fun of this article. Geez, I just got one sentence into this, and we're now 5 minutes into the video. Oh my gosh. This is going to be tough. I'll try to get through this, chat. This time, we're talking about Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It is yet again another series that people online want to hate on, ... because I guess, well, I can tell you why. One, it's a big diversity hire nonsense thing where the world makes no sense because there's a random black person inserted into everything. Two, it's an obnoxious girl boss thing where they've actually bastardized the character of Galadriel, who's supposed to kind of be more of a Virgin Mary type of character, a elf sorceress. They've turned her into a warrior in order to do the generic, poorly written female that has been going on since Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And that's what it is, guys. It's just a ripoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer every single time. And then it's so boring, like nothing happens. Like it's just like we are how many episodes into this? How many hours into this? I can't even sit through it. I'm still in the first season because I just was not able to sit through 72-minute episodes where just nothing happens after nothing happens. So if you don't get it, that's why. Now it has some window dressing that looks pretty. The backgrounds are done really well. And it shows that they spent a lot of money on it. Congratulations. I'll give you a participation trophy for that. So there you go. And that, I guess, is the quality that makes it fun to watch, according to her. But that's the reason people are talking about it. So she describes it. It follows Galadriel at a time when Sauron is creating titular rings of power. The show itself is based on the appendices of Lord of the Rings, kind of, loosely. She should have said loosely based instead of largely based, giving it a bit more freedom in what to do with the characters and storylines as opposed to the adaptations. It doesn't, because these are established characters. We know how they act. The elves don't just like radically change. Galadriel doesn't go from being super warrior princess to this like mystic elf lady of light just because she just like forgot how to be a swordsman. I don't understand like what you're trying to say here. It doesn't make any sense. This has, for reasons that should be obvious, brought out the worst of the internet. So remember, criticism is bad. From the first season on, fans of Lord of the Rings, and she puts it in scare quotes, she means real fans, the ones who actually know the Lord of the Rings lore, not her, fake geek girl, have complained about the show for one reason or another, most of them about the inclusion in the series. Centering the series around Galadriel instantly put angry men on alert. Oh my gosh. It's attacking fans. This is all this is. Then we have women of color in prominent roles, as well as men of color playing elves, dwarves, and other characters that didn't in Jackson's films. So again, this is not about Jackson's films. This is about Tolkien's books. And it goes to show how fake of a geek girl she is, because she's not referencing Tolkien's books almost at all. I would venture to guess she hasn't even read them. And that's where we're at here. She's basing her opinion based on films based on the books. And that is why these people are so stupid who stand for this stuff at this juncture. Now, it is obnoxious to have these like random diversity inserts in there. It doesn't make any sense. Why would every single faction, like in this like landlocked Middle-earth world, all have one random black person in it? Why does it all look like every generic Hollywood casting ever? It doesn't make any sense. Why does it have this like Galadriel going out there and just like, beating up monsters single-handedly? It doesn't make any sense. And so this is about, quote, inclusion, but you can see what she wants. She wants you to clap for it just because it does have black people in it. And that's not a bar that makes a show good. It's stupidity. Oh my gosh. So Simon Tolkien, the grandson of Christopher Tolkien, is a consultant. Okay, so yeah, yay. He got paid off, clearly. So she says it's fascinating. It had a lot of mystery. Season 2, he turns his gaze on Celebrimor, and I think it's fascinating how the show explores Sauron's use of elves. That, to me, makes the storyline with the elves from Lord of the Rings more interesting to her. Yeah. I love every single thing that happens with the halflings. Has she been watching the same show? This is ridiculous. I mean, it's so boring. And that their whole deal doesn't make sense. They're farmers who are nomads, just by itself. Like, let's do a little world building work, people. I'm a professional fantasy author. I look at this and I go, farmers can't be nomads. They plant things in the ground, and so they need to be there in a certain spot for harvest. It makes no sense. So just because it exists, just because it has black people in it, we're supposed to clap for it. It's a great time to be a nerd every month. Well, I don't identify as a nerd. We have a new show to unpack and love, but being online during this time has been miserable. All these angry people try to ruin the fun for everyone else. Well, why don't you just stop watching our channels? I mean, she obviously watches us more than she watches Rings of Power or Lord of the Rings or reads the books or watches any of the old Star Trek or any of the old Star Wars, because if she didn't, maybe she'd learn that these current iterations are just bastardizations of what have come before. That's why we're so obnoxious. It's why we're so obnoxious. We are. But it's why we are so on this. It really is. And so if she just did a little bit of research, stopped pretending to be a fake geek girl, shilling, and actually read Tolkien's work, maybe, just maybe, she might come to the same understanding we do, that these are just bastardizations of the show, and they're disasters. All right. How about if you don't like something simply because you think you know more, you keep that to yourself? Well, why don't you keep this nonsense to yourself, Rachel? I mean, stop stopping us from trying to have fun. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Ugh, the stupidity of Mary Sue. It's really hard to get through. This was harder to get through than maybe Rings of Power. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my fantasy books. I appreciate you guys for being there. It's in the description below. We'll be back soon.